Whether you're applying to medicine, dentistry, selective high schools like John Monash, or you're about to sit for a new job offer, you need to know how the best ace their interviews. And today I'll be sharing some of the techniques that I know and that I've used to help me in interview performances. Now, interviews are stressful and it's all about trying to craft the perfect experience for yourself to present yourself at your crux competence and not get flustered by the occasion. And so preparation is the key. And this is some of the best ways that I know on how you can prepare to smash your interviews and deliver a seamless first impression. So we'll start on the left and move to the right. Number one, practice, practice, practice. It's always good to practice with other people because you're so much more competent when you're by yourself. And when you're speaking aloud, it's also completely different to just thinking things in your head. You'll be surprised how fluent and articulate you are when you're just listening to your own thoughts. But the act of speaking it out will introduce different things that make it harder. You become less articulate. You start to say, you start to stutter. All these factors come out when you are physically speaking. And so it's important to practice and practice with someone else as well, because then you get the pressure of social interaction. You're wondering what they're thinking and it's easy to get distracted in those scenarios too. So the more you practice with other people, the better you'll be because in your actual interview, you'll be interviewed by physical people. Now, if your interview is in person, practice in person. If it's by Zoom, practice on Zoom, but make sure you're practicing with other people. Bonus points if it's with a variety of different people, because then you get a better feel. Now, if you're practicing on Zoom, also get into the zone. So that might be, some people like to dress up in the clothes that they'll wear the perfume that they'll wear. Make sure you make the scenario as similar as possible to what the actual interview is. If you're just practicing with a friend and you're laughing and you're joking halfway through, it's not the same because you need to at least deliver a couple of really stunning performances in practice before you can do it in person. Sure, deliver a seamless presentation and then afterwards have a laugh with your friends on the camera. Okay, so practicing with a partner is key. If you don't have anyone to practice with, then record yourself, use the AI to give you some criticisms or feedback. Number two, track your results. It's hard to say often what metrics are trackable with interviews, but there are certain things which is it's worthwhile knowing how you're going. First of all, timing. So, for example, some medical interviews, you'll have 8 minutes for 5 questions. So, time yourself or get your partner to time you with each response. How long is it taking? Are you taking 3 minutes per question? Are you taking 30 seconds per question? What was that like compared to last week? Are you getting closer to your goal or are you staying the same? Likewise, one way of breaking down the scoring system is how was the structure of your presentation? Did you have a nice intro, body, and conclusion? What what was the relevance of the content? Was it relevant to the question or did you go on a tangent? And what about your presentation skills? Do you say use filler words? Did you maintain good eye contact? Did you have hand gestures? And so each of these things you can essentially create a rubric, whether even if you don't know what the actual rubric is for the exam, you can make one and give it to your partner to assess you with. Number three, you'll do the best when you already sort of know what questions will come up. And what we want to avoid is you going to the interview, giving a performance, and then when you're on the way home, you think, oh, I should have said this, should have said this. Oh, my response could have been so much better if I had mentioned this. So you should try and practice at such a volume that you've done most of the questions that you expect to come up, or all the questions you expect to come up, plus other ones, plus niche fringe ones. And so hopefully by the time you're answering the questions in the actual test, you know exactly how to answer lots of the things. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are your passions? Why this job? Why this career? All of these things are very generic, but make sure you have a response for them. Now, I'm not saying to sort of word for word memorize things, but if you have the key point in your head, then you can be a bit spontaneous and then it won't seem so rehearsed when you do give the talk. Next, warmth and competence are the two things you need to try and show. And some people are great with the warm side, but need to practice with the confident side. And some people are great with the competence and confidence side, but need to practice on the warmth side. And these things, I think most people know they're intuitively weaker in one than the other. And it's something to practice and think, am I giving off warmth in my interaction? Or am I giving off confidence in my interaction? Do I have an upward inflection at the every time I finish a sentence? So it sounds like I'm asking a question, but not an answer. Or is your inflection and pitch stable or downsloping? These are the things that convey confidence. Does your volume drop off and you become really quiet when you need to answer something? Or do you say it loudly and with confidence? And so these are the things to try and practice. Right? Do you have smiles, hand gestures, and engaging and developing a bit of a relationship with the interviewer? Finally, the most important part, I think, of any interview response is the first sentence. And if you can break down a strong first sentence and practice that, then the rest of your answer will flow from that. So when introducing yourself, make sure you've practiced that statement. Hi, I'm Ethan. I'm here to interview with you today. Or whatever sentence you choose, make it something that you can present with confidence and something that you're not stuttering just to think of, oh, hi, thanks for meeting me and nice to be here. Make it strong, make an impression. Likewise, if there's an example or a question you didn't expect, come up with a first strong sentence. There's many ways to answer that question, or in order to answer this, I'm going to try and split that up into three categories: political, economic, and social. And so the first sentence will not only introduce some warmth and confidence, but will provide a structure with which the rest of the answer will follow. And so sometimes just practicing your first sentence for each or focusing on the first sentence is a nice way of forecasting what else is going to go on. This is the bread and butter stuff. And so hopefully you can start with here and then branch out into the more advanced things. But interviews can be something that's fun. And if you learn to enjoy the excitement of it, rather than thinking of it as stress, it's another way to really get in the zone. But do your research online. Think about your speaking skills, common interview questions, and how you should answer them. There's lots of great videos online that talk about this as well. If you enjoyed me branching out from my normal study and UCAT content, please let me know, and you'll have further videos about interviews and presentation skills in the future. Thanks very much, guys, and I will see you next time.